I asked him, would you eat from the backside? He said, to rub the nose of the binocular, eat on the backside. He said, quote, אני לא הייתי נכנס לזה, אבל מישהו שאין לו מנהג, אין לי שום בעיה.
No, so you're buying the end? You're buying it?
You know you're live.
We are live? Are we live? Okay. Daf Tzadik Zayin on the Beis, Beitza B'Shishim Ve'im Beitza B'Naminyan. So yesterday we were learning about things that are bottle, Gid, Hanash's bottle, B'Shishim. We had an amazing halacha about the Kchal, the udder, that it's bottle B59. 59 plus it. Today we're going to learn the reverse, that by eggs, it's not 60, it's actually 61. You need 61 plus the non-kosher egg. So for a total of, we're going to be looking at 62 eggs. Says the Gemara, Beitza b'shishim beitza b'naminyan. If we're discussing eggs, right, hard-boiled eggs, and we're discussing that if you have a treifa egg, it needs 60 eggs to be mevatel, meaning that the hard-boiled egg gives off flavor. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an issue at all. If the treif egg contains everything within inside it and it doesn't impart flavor, then what's the problem? But there's a famous saying, your food is tasteless like the water of an egg. If you cook eggs in water and then you drink that water, what does it taste like? Like nothing. It tastes like water. So if people are saying that the water of cooked eggs tastes like nothing, then obviously it doesn't impart any flavor. So if it doesn't impart any flavor, so what's the problem now? We have an egg that doesn't impart flavor. You don't need batal b'shishim, you don't need batal b'anything. So we must be talking about that there's a chick in the egg. For that I have a picture. We always start off strong with pictures. In case you don't know what it looks like. Oh. Here.
It doesn't look that good.
Doesn't look that good.
All right. It looks appetizing. So if you have an egg, if you have a chick in the egg, then the chick in the egg is a nevela. And the nevela does impart flavor to the rest of the mixture, and therefore we need at least 60. As we're going to be saying later on, it's actually 61. Eisvei, it's dead. Eisvei, not like this picture. Eisvei. What? So we're not talking about a non-kosher bird. We're talking about a chick in a kosher egg. There's a kosher chicken, and the kosher chicken had the egg had a chick inside it, and you cooked the chick with other things, other eggs. So all those eggs become like the chick. It's a dead chicken. And memela, it's an avela. It gives flavor to all the other eggs. So in order to mevatel that one chick, you need 60 times that amount. Yeah? Nachamol? Eisvei beitzim tahoros shesholkon im beitzim tmeos. If you cooked tahar with tameh, what does that mean usually? Tahar and tameh. So typically it means a kosher chicken and a non-kosher bird. So you take the egg of an eagle and you cook it with kosher eggs, chicken eggs. If that one treif egg, that tameh egg imparts flavor to the rest, they're all asur. So what do we do over here? When it says tameh, so now we have to veer off track a little bit and say that tameh over here is referring to an avela with inside an egg. It's tameh because it's asur to eat, not because it's a tameh species. It's a kosher bird that's dead. The problem is, now the Seifa says specifically that there's a chick inside of it, Im yesh b'hem b'noisen tam kulan asura is mechlal the reisha the les boy v'rech is kinon. If the seifa, here's the seifa and the reisha, just for only because it comes slightly interesting in a second. So the reisha says beitzim tahiros that you cooked with tmeos. If it has nice and tam, asur. The seifa says if there is a chick inside of it, nice and tam is asur, meaning that this part is no chick. This has a chick inside of it. This doesn't have a chick inside of it. Says the Gemara, no, Perushika Mefarish. There is no Reisha and Seifa. It's one long statement. If it gives off flavor, how? Nimtza Froyach. The way to give off flavor in an egg is if there's a chick inside, because we said that people say that eggs as is don't give off flavor. Perushika Mefarish. Beitzim Toishin Sholkom in Beitzim Tmeyois. Yeah. Yeah.
How does the taste get out of the egg?
It doesn't usually, but if there's a froyach, it does.
It's closed, I'm saying. And there's no froth in it. I'm asking, is there an egg?
Well, let me ask you something else. Time out. Let me ask you a different Balabashi question. How does the taste go into the egg in a chalt? You put an egg in a chalt, it turns brown, it turns all sorts of colors, and it gets the flavor of the chalt. How does it work that way? I guess so. So usually it goes this way, not that way. But if there's a geschmack, a juicy chick inside of it, then it goes that way also. I guess it's already old enough and porous enough.
Half your shell's cracked out.
You can just say that the chick doesn't have a flavor, so it doesn't go.
It does. It does. We're saying that chick does have flavor. Chick makes flavor
You should
and.
wash eggs before you use them. Like, unless you wash it straight away, because all the bacteria will go into the egg.
You shouldn't.
It's very porous. It's not a.
Oh.
Shouldn't wash it?
You shouldn't wash it unless it's right before you use it, because otherwise it's a lot of germs.
It is porous.
Gets in.
But how come it is? He's asking, how come it's porous going this way and not that way?
Both ways.
Yeah, but if you cook an egg in water, does the water taste like an egg? No. The Gemara says it doesn't taste like an egg. Why not? Maybe because the boiling causes it to lock in or something.
If you look at the rim of the pot,
It has like a little.
it has this.
Maybe that's from the outside of that shell. How do you know it's from the inside? Maybe it's some chemical from the outside.
Well, the egg is the only thing that
taste
gets
of
harder
the-
when it gets
the,
cooked
the-
longer,
the
whereas
chicken
everything
broth.
else gets softer when it gets cooked longer.
No, so what's the
So why are
chat?
we using an egg, which is an unusual type of food?
I don't see the. At the end of the day, it's porous, but it doesn't go. It doesn't give flavor to the water for whatever reason. Maybe the membrane there saves it. I don't know.
Only when there's enough process.
Right. Okay, so let's see how this works here. So first we're saying Perushikam Mefarish. The safe is really an explanation of the ratio. Based on Torah Sheshalkim, based on Tomatoes, Im Yesh Ben Benois and Tam Kul Masus Keitzad. How do you have a tam? Kigon Sheshalkim and into Frach Ba'achasman. Fine. Hachinam Mistabra, and now the Gemara brings a raya that the Gemara doesn't like. And now we have to hold cup just for a second. Hachinam Mistabra, I'll prove it to you. These Okadai the Chreisha de Les Be'Froyach. If you're telling me that these are two separate things, there's a ratio and a seifa, and the first part is talking about there's no chick. Hash to the Les Be'Froyach Asura. So if the first part is talking about a situation where there's no chick and nois and tam is asur by a oif tame. We're talking about if it's talking about a non-kosher bird that has no chick inside and it imparts flavor, it's also so I need to tell me that if it has an afrayach, of course, if it has an avail inside, it's for sure going to be also. If a tummy bird by itself, obviously we're not talking about a tummy bird. We're talking about a kosher bird, and the seifa is explaining the ratio. Says if you're talking about a tummy bird, and you're asking me a kasha, a kavachomer from the seifa to the ratio, that's not a great raya. Why? Tana seifa legaluya ratio. Because if it just was talking about a tummy bird and only said the ratio, maybe you'll say, I'll explain the ratio. If it didn't have the seifa at all, if I erase this part and just say the ratio, and I say, okay, it says, that the tmeos means a non-kosher bird, and I don't know what it is. Is there a chick inside or not chick inside it? So if it wouldn't have the seifa, I would say that it's talking about that it has a chick inside, and that's why it imparts flavor. So that's why I give you a seifa. They're both talking about a tummy bird, theoretically now. We're talking about your big kasha that it's a kavachomer. Why does it say that there's a chick? To explain to me that the ratio is talking about a situation where there's no chick. So I'm saying that there's no chick and it's still asur. So 2 cases of Tomei bird. Elamai, no, we're not talking about Tomei bird b'chlal. We're talking about a tahor bird. Why? Because that's what we like right now. It's talking about a tahor bird, and it's just explaining, the Sefer is explaining the ratio that how do you have a tahor bird that imparts flavor if there's a chicken side. But your raya is not a good raya. That's all the Gemara is saying. Your kavachomer, so to speak, is not a good raya. Says the Gemara, "Who kizaysa tarbo the nova b'dikula de bisra." Shtickle hot in there, no? Oh, you just heard us. Unless you guys are cold. So you had a kazayis, that's the shir deraisa of fat that fell into a pot of basar. So we spoke about this yesterday, and here it is before in the Gemara. Rashi was just quoting the Gemara. It goes like this: Tarba is fat, chelev, that fell into a pot, a kosher pot. So now what happened was, let's just for example, for argument's sake, he started off the pot with 60 kezesim of kosher meat. And now he comes and he measures the pot, and he finds there's only 50 kezesim. He started off with 60, and he has 50. And it has company, it has a friend inside, a piece of nevela, 1/60th of the original amount. So Rav Ashi wanted to say, I could do batel b'shishim. Why? Because I have the 50 that I have in the pot, and I have the 10 that disappeared. You know where they disappeared? Into the pot. So far so good. It makes a lot of sense. So Talmidim say it doesn't make any sense. Why? Amrulei Rabbanan Rav Ashi. So Talmidim tell him, Otu de teira bola di surle bola. You have 1 kazayis of nevela in front of you, and 50 kazayim of kosher. You're telling me, you know where 10 kazayim disappeared to? Into the pot. If that disappeared, then the no good meat, the nevela also disappeared into the pot. Maybe you started out with 2 kazayim of nevela, and the reason why you only found 1 today is because only kosher disappears into the pot, and non-kosher? In other words, your ratio is off. Your calculation is off. It's not 60 to 1, it's 60 to 2. I'll let you use everything in the pot. And I'll say there's 10 kibetzim of kosher in the walls of the pot. But it's not fair not to consider any of the non-kosher. So if I have right now 1 kibetzah of non-kosher, obviously I started off with more than that. And it just boiled off and it went into the pot.
We're just saying that a chelik of the kosher one is in the treif one is in the wall.
Yeah, and the chelik of the treif also went in.
We're adding.
Right.
We're not adding, we're saying that part is
No, but you have to add.
No, you're saying you're left with the kazayas in the pot, but then there's the
there was-
clears of that.
what if there was shishim originally?
The shishim originally. Do I know how much treif there was originally?
When did the tray fall
Say
in?
what kazayas?
When did the tray
No, you found it cooked there.
What you see.
It didn't fall in. If you saw it fall, So now, if you know how much treif there is, if you know for a fact how much treif there is, then there's a machlekes rishonim if you could still use this or not.
No, if you saw there was trays there.
We're talking about it. You don't know. You don't know
At that
anything.
stage there was 60. And then eventually 10 disappeared,
Right.
evaporated, so no longer. But once it was bittled, the tray was stable.
But when did the treif come in?
Once it was still 60.
When there was 60. Yeah. Okay. So, but how you don't know how much treif was? Right now, you found 1 kazayis of treif and 50 kazayis of kosher. So you have to also assume that there was more treif and it also evaporated.
The pot has already flavor inside, absorbed from the previous cooking. So it didn't
I don't know. We're not dealing with the previous.
You're missing,
Brand new pot. I don't
you
know.
missed the other day. When you say if you have a big heavy pot, you'd never have a question of tray.
Right. Right.
But they say that the chelik of the
Well, the Taisus goes away from that.
pot is misbatted in the chelik that's not kosher in the walls of the pot is misbatted in the chelik that is kosher in the walls of the pot.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just like you have bittul in the pot itself,
Yeah.
even though some disappeared. So too, in the wall of the pot, there was also bittul.
No. So either way, you can't pick and choose. You can't be mevatel one thing and not be mevatel the other thing. You can't pretend that there's kosher in the pot and not kosher not in the pot. Says the Gemara. Now there's a half a shear. The shir d'oraisa is a full zayis. He found a half a zayis. The tarba of chaylev, the nofal b'dikula into a pat the bisra of meat. So the son of Ravashi wanted to say, l'shauri b'tlosim palged zayis. So he's trying to be cute, I think. I don't know, cute or I'm not exactly sure what he was trying to do here. But what's batal b'shishim? If you have 1/2 a zayis, how many half a zaysim do you need? You need 30 full zaysim. So he said, since it's a half a shear anyways, it's a half a zayis, so I'm going to use half of the shear of the bittul, which is 30 halves, which, because halachically you need 30 holes to mivatal 1/2. You need 60 halves for 1/2 a zayis. If you have 1/2 a zayis, you need 60 half a zaysim to be mivatal it. So he said, well, it's only a half. It's only a half a isser. So let me use a half of the shear. Something like that. Two problems here. Ravashi, his father tells him, listen, if Rabbanon give you a shear and they say it's a half a shear, the shear here is even a half a zayis is osir, so then you have to treat Rabbanon like the Torah. And what the Torah is, you'd use 60 half zaysim or 30 whole zaysim to mivatal this half zayis. But there's a bigger and better problem. There's a halacha that a half a shear is osir min Torah, meaning it says in the pasuk over here, kol chaylev, any amount of chaylev is osir midoraisa. So what is the shear of kazayis? To give me malchus. But if I eat, I think we discussed it like 2 days ago. If I eat half of the shear of malchus, it's still osir min Torah. I can't say, I'm eating half. Still get gehenim for it. You won't get malchus by the. So Mela, since it's osir min Torah, so in order to mevatel it, I need a full shear of 30 full kazaysim. Why are you trying to use 30 halves? In other words, he didn't really use it. He was searching to see if he could find 30 halves zaysim. I thought this is very interesting. You had to memorize all these very interesting names, not standard names. And at the end, it didn't really give you much. It says, Omer Rav Shimon bar Abba, Omer Rav Idi bar Gershom. By me, it took out the Idi because it's very hard to understand if it's Idi bar Idi. Okay. Any way you want. My Gemara completely ignores the fact. Doesn't even have like a symbol here. Bar Gershom, Omer Levi, Bar Prato, Omer Reb Nachman, Omer Reb Bir. Who? Nachum. What did I say? Nachman. Oh, sorry. Omer Rabbi Nachum. That it does say. Yeah, you're right. Omer Rabbi Nachum. Omer Rabbi Royam. Biryam. Mishum Zokan Echad. Fine. You finally get to the end. It's an old man. Rabbi Yaakov Shmei. And we know that his name is Rabbi Yaakov. The Beit Nesiya Amru. Beitza b'shishim asuro b'shishim v'achas muteres. So now we're just going to get into this shaila. Is an egg different than every other thing in the world? Do you need 61 eggs to be invatal one egg, and then you're ending up with 62 eggs? Or do you need 60 eggs to be invatal one egg, and you end up with a pot of 61 eggs? One is usr and 60 are mutter, and that's how you invatal. Omar Rabbi Zera. Now I'll explain to you what I saw in the Rishonim. Why is the egg different? Because there's no uniform size to an egg. So when I look at an egg and I say I have 60 eggs, maybe I have 60 eggs that are different. Maybe my egg is a large egg, and some of these 60 eggs are medium eggs. And I don't really have, it looks like I have 60 to the 1, but it's not really 60 ratio to 1.
No uniform size to meat either.
No, meat is meat, chicken is chicken.
Every pork is a different size.
You weigh it, you this and I don't know. No, but you're going by number. By eggs, everybody goes by dozens. So you're going, it's a minion. So I go by a minion and each. So they added another egg. They said just make it 61. So really 61 is 60. But that's what I saw. That's what the Rashba says. That's what other Rishonim say. Omar Reb Zera Reb Shema bar Abba. Re'ei, what you're doing is terrible. He says. Shatamata b'gvul heter. You're not explaining yourself. You're very vague. You're saying beitza b'shishim asura b'shishim achas muteres, and I could come to understand that maybe what you meant to say is that all you need is 61 eggs total and 60 is mevatalit. But it's not clear. You have G'dorei Adar that didn't know what Allah was. Rabbi Yaakov bar Idi, Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachmani, Tarvai Mishmei Rabbi Shmuel ben Levi Amri. They were both saying it in the name of Rabbi Shmuel ben Levi. And we'll see, it's interesting because in a second we're going to have a machlokes what Reb Shua ben Levi said. Did he say 1 in 60 or 1 in 100? But here also, even the 60 in eggs, we're not exactly sure what Reb Shua ben Levi said. Beitza b'shishim asura b'shishim achas muteres. Do you need 61 against it? V'boilu b'shishim achas b'adei didah or dem bar mina? V'loi pashut. Did it mean 61 with the non-kosher eggs? You have a total of 61, or you had a total of 62? And nobody knew the answer. And you're so sure of yourself. At the end of the day, says the Gemara, Itmar, I don't know why I did this. This was really for the video thing. If you want to see what 61 eggs looks like, I added this guy right here. It's 60 and 1. Here's the Isser guy, 1 Isser to the 61. This is halacha. At the end of the day, when it comes to eggs, you need 61. So if you ever had a chick in an egg that fell into your pot, and you have 61 eggs, you're good to go. Omar Reb Chaba, Omar Rav Huna, here comes Rav Huna, and then we pass it, and you see the Shulchan Aruch passing like this. Beitza b'shishim v'hi asura, b'shishim v'achas v'hi muteres. If you have 61 plus he, a total of 62 muteres. So that's the halacha. You need 61 to 1.
Why do we cook 3 eggs usually in case one of them has got a blood strain? There we say bottled 1 and 2.
Oh, so I saw. What do they say in Rashi? Rashi says Shabbos, or Rashi says that it's not blood. It's only from the Freya Chanan. There's actually Rishonim. Was it Taisus? I forgot where I saw it. There's some rate about the blood in other Rishonim, but from Rashi it seems like it starts from a chick. The blood is nothing. In other words, that's the Isser. Says the Gemara, I would also the Kamid Rebbe Gamliel bar Rebbe. Omerle Abba Lishir bar Barim v'Sheva v'Ani Yishar bar Barim v'Chomesh. Interesting. Rashi says this whole case is talking about a half a shear. Not exactly sure, but a half a shear. That what? He came to him. So what happened was before this whole concept of 60 to 1 ratio became standard at the end of the Amoraim. The end of the Tkufas Amoraim, that's when we figured out that we need to go to a 60 to 1 ratio. But before that, the Gemara says that there was a few questions asked. Could I rely on 47? Could I rely on 45? And he says, what are you talking about 45? My father didn't even do 47. In other words, we didn't get to the 60 yet. If we were at 60, then this whole Gemara wouldn't be in existence. So we're in a in-between period. We weren't sure exactly what this basar belefis is or Butzel is. How much is that? So could I get away with 45? He yelled at him, no way, not 45. Not even 47 is good. Also, says Reb Shimon bar Rebbe, and this is Reb Gamliel bar Rebbe. He says, my father didn't even allow 45, I can't allow 43. So the way I don't have a great example that I could say over and share, but like if a guy goes to a rabbi, he says, I made $100,000 this year, and I gave $10 to the tzedakah. Is that okay? The rabbi says, what? You didn't even give 20? So you want to be Oyer Chacham? You say, oh, if I gave 20, I'm a big tzaddik. No, he's making fun of you. He's like that's what happened over here. How does the Kamei Rebbe Chia Omer like Klum Yeshloishim? What? Do you have 30? So the Gemara says, oh, time it like Yeshloishim. Oh, maybe 30 is good enough to do bittul. Or Guzma, he's playing with him. He's messing with him. He says, you don't even have 30. Don't be medaik in his words. Oh, 30 is good. He says, you have nothing here that to minvatel. You need to get to 60 to minvatel. Not that 30 is the number. Omer Rebbe Chia Bar Abba Omer Rebbe Shua ben Levi Mishum Bar Kapara. Kol Yisun Shabbat Torah B'Shishim. Omer Lefan Rebbe Shmuel Bar Yitzchak Rebbe. Ato Omer Kein Hocham Rebbe Asi Omer Rebbe Shua ben Levi Mishum Bar Kapara. You're saying in the name of Rebbe Shua ben Levi that it's 1 in 60. It says Kol Yisun Shabbat Torah B'Meya. What do? Rebbe Shua ben Levi said that the shear is 1 in 100, not 1 in 60. So now the Gemara says, where do we get any of these shittas? And it comes from the same pasuk. It's just a question how we learn it, or how we view it. It says by a Nazir that at the end of his process he brings. We just had this whole zroya. It's amazing, right? I actually wanted to put on the video. I couldn't figure out how to get the WhatsApp onto the video, unfortunately. It's too late at night. It's 2 in the morning. It's been geschmack, showing that whole Zraya thing with the bracha. Not mamish part of the video, maybe at the end as bloopers. And then the guy goes, what do you say? Kishem shenichlas the briz. The guy. Anyways, what? I know. I'm looking at you. Anyway, so like we saw, some of us saw this concept of the matnas kuna. You give a kohen from every animal, like the Sunday night animal. You give the zroya l'choayim v'keva. So over here you give the zroya. First he waves it. You cook it. You wave it. It's a whole process. Then you give it to the kohen. But here's what's very interesting. The Torah says, it's a cooked zroya. Cooked. How do you cook the zroya? Now, the zroya belongs to who? The kohen. Could a Yisrael touch it? Absolutely not. He can't eat from it. It's usher. It's like truma. Like we had the other day, yesterday, we had truma that cooked with chullin. So all the chullin becomes usher for Yisrael. Over here also, if you cook the rest of the animal with the zroya, the whole animal should become usher. Yet the Torah says you cook it. B'tanya b'sheila. Ein b'sheila ela shleima. The word b'sheila means whole. Says Rashi, lo nisparish beis lashon. I don't know. I haven't found a language that b'sheila means whole. Says Tosfos, perish b'kunj lo nisparish beis lashon. V'nir lefarish the mashma b'sheila kamoi b'shelah. You read it b'shelah. It's within itself. It's whole. It has everything in it. In other words, so the Tanna Kama says, do not chop up the zroya. Whatever you do, give it whole. It has to be one piece. But he's not saying that you cook it with the rest of the animal. B'sheila is just telling me, make sure it's whole. You cook it in 2 separate pots maybe.
So
What?
Give it to the kohen raw.
No, you cook it in a different pot. Here, let's see. The Gemara says, Rishim ben Yechoy Omer, Ein b'sheila eloshin is bashlo imo ayil. So right now, if we stop right here, forget about the Tanna Kama for a second. We have Rabbi Shimon ben Yechoy. We can rely on him. He says, at least according to him, you cook the zroya that belongs to the kohen with the whole entire goat that belongs to the Yisrael. Major issue. What do? So we have to say, here's the concept that became batal. What are you going to ask me? I know you're going to ask me this question. Oh, not lechatchila. Okay, so that's what we call a chiddush. The Torah says you could be involved lechatchila in this specific situation. But I want to say that what Hakadosh Baruch Hu meant to do here is to create a bittul.
I know the matnas kuna are very small, right? But nowhere near a 60th of the rest of the animal.
Let's see. So the Gemara is going to go into it. How do we understand? I don't have a great answer for you, but we'll have somewhat of an answer. I really wanted to sit there yesterday and see if we could check it. But let's see. Maybe, and I was also thinking, you weren't there, but according to the Gaon, you have to chop off more. And maybe that's what he was saying. I was thinking about that. That he says that the zroya was just the bottom part. A really meager, almost no meat there. Just a few ounces of meat. This part where it's very, very bony and not up here where it's thicker. That's what the Gaon says. But let's see, there's going to be a little bit more explanation here. The kuli alma bahadi ayel mevashalo. So according to this right over here, it's just a question, could you chop up the zroya, could you cut it into pieces? But at the end of the day, everybody agrees that the cooking occurs together in one pot. You cook the zroya, the foreleg, together with the ayel. Mar sovar mechadach lo v'hodem mevashalo. One man says you cut off the foreleg and then you cook it in the same pot. Mar sovar mevashalo v'hodem mechadach lo. Fine. We're getting to one point. The point is, do you cook it together or not? The kuli alma mechadach lo v'hodem mevashalo. Everybody agrees that you cut it off first, like we did at the presentation. You cut off the zroya, then you mevashal. But miu mar sovar b'adei ayel mevashalo. Reb Shimon bar Yochai holds that the bishul happens together in one pot. You put it in another pot. Says the Gemara, okay, so
That's not a problem.
what? According to that, that's what the Gemara just points out here. I have a big problem according to everybody, like we started off the sugya. Only according to one man says that you put everything in one pot. According to the other man, we don't have a question. But at the end of the day, what do we do with 3 out of the 4 shitas that you cook the foreleg together with the whole ayil? How could the Yisrael eat from it? Man doma b'shishim, sova botzavat somois, b'adei botzavat somois b'sharino, b'havele b'shishim. Oh, very simple argument. Do I consider the bones or don't I consider the bones? What's the shaila? Do bones impart flavor? If you say bones impart flavor, then I have to consider the entire bone, the whole foreleg. The animal is 60 times larger than the whole foreleg with the bones. If I'm not going to consider the bones, only the small, tiny piece of edible meat on it, then the entire animal is 100 times the size of that meat. So now I have a machlokes in Rishon Levi. Did he say 1/60th or 100th? So where did I get this whole concept of 1/60th? From Zroya B'Sheila of a Nazir. That's where I got it from.
Is that 60 times more meat connected than meat?
No, maybe 60 times bones and everything. I don't know. Whatever it is. Maybe even the keva. Maybe I have to figure. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I understand it's probably not 100 times. If it's a half a pound, you don't have 50 pounds of meat. Maybe you do. It's about 25 kilo. It's right about 25 kilos. So it's,
Very small. I would think there's a lot more meat, 60 times more meat.
I would love to take one of those sheep and chop it up and start measuring with the bone, without the bone. Listen, Chacham did it already for us. And the question is,
obviously ate hindquarters. So
They all did.
So he weighed the
Everything, yeah. No, listen, it's basar is basar. That we're makbid not to eat it is a different story.
When you cook with all the fats, or you have to take the fats out first?
What you mean the? Yeah, you have to take chalev.
When you roast it, the chalev gives off the flavor.
That we learned that right, not roasting. Your mevashel. It's a mevashel bishul. We learned that makes the chalev travels in bishul. Doesn't travel in roasting.
Even roasting for the chalev.
No, because
We
it's
learned in the
got a
lecture, the
membrane.
chalev goes into the meat. You roast the chalev.
The chalev, you're right. Yeah, chalev does. He's right. Mifapeya, even chalev is mifapeya. True. Man domer b'shishim sovar bosav atzavis b'adei bosav atzavis b'sharinim v'havelei b'shishim. Man domer b'meya sovar bosav b'adei bosav b'sharinim v'havelei b'meya. And that's the Gemara. So where am I learning from? I'm learning from the Zroya. This is one situation where I could eat a heter that came from an Isser. You cooked Kayan food with Yisrael food and you're allowed to eat it. What does it come to exclude? So tomorrow we're going to continue with the second pshat. Today we're going to learn one pshat. So remember the question for tomorrow. This brayso that says, this is the case where I could eat a heter that came from an Isser. In other words, everywhere else in the Torah, I don't do bittul b'roiv. I don't do bittul b'shishim. Sorry, not bittul b'roiv. Bittul b'shishim. Over here is one situation of Zroya that I could do bittul b'shishim or bittul b'meya. This zeo is coming to say, even Rabbi Yehuda that says, min b'minoi loy batil, kumash malon da'acha batil. In other words, Rabbi Yehuda says, in general, meat can never be batil. If you put a piece of meat in a pot with another 1,000 pieces of kosher meat, you take a treif piece of meat and put it in with the same flavor, since it has the same flavor, it can never be batil. So, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you cannot be mevatel Zroya with the rest of the animal. Even if the rest of the animal is 100 times larger, more meat than the foreleg, it's not batal. Comes the Torah and says it is batal. That means zeo. In this specific case, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's batal. According to everybody else, the zeo doesn't do anything for us right now. Says the Gemara, v'ligmar minei. Okay. So then why in the world does Rabbi Yehuda say that there's no batal b'shishim? It says in Zroya, batal b'shishim. Because it says, I don't know if you remember this, but we had both of these animals, the ox and the goat, are shechted, and you take both of the bloods, you mix it. The Torah calls the blood of the sar, blood of the sar. But the blood of the sar is nothing. We saw how much blood a sheep has. It has 2 liters of blood. If you went to Shlachtos, you see it gushes and gallons upon gallons of blood comes out. It's disgusting. So it should be batal b'roy, it should be batal b'shishim, whatever. It shouldn't be considered the dam of a sar. Yet the Torah calls it dam sar to tell us, because they're both bloods. Blood of the sar will never in a million years be batal to the blood of an ox, because it's min b'minoi. So Torah tells us min b'minoi. So on the one hand you have blood that's not batal, on the other hand you have Zroya that is batal. Ask the Gemara, so why do you learn from blood? Maybe you learn from Zroya. So that's what we were saying before, that the whole Zroya is a big chiddush. How could I go lechatchila and put in a pot a foreleg that I know the Yisrael can't eat from? And I'm going to be mevatalit b'shishim on purpose. If I had a situation where something fell into my pot, a piece of challah fell into my basar, okay, so I open up the Shulchan Aruch. What do? If it has 65, but I don't go lechatchila and say I want to taste what milk in basar is or whatever. I want to add some milk to my and say, oh, it's batal b'shishim. You're not allowed to do that. So since the Torah said I could do lechatchila by Israel, it's a chiddush. I don't learn anything out from a chiddush. Oh, you don't want to learn anything out from a chiddush? The whole concept of 1 in 60, 1 in 100 is from the foreleg, and a foreleg is a chiddush. So don't learn anything out from it. Says Gemara, we're not learning a kula, we're learning a chumrah. The midaraisa beruba batel. What? That midaraisa 51% is enough. Bitul b'roiv. Now you want to come and say you need 60 times the amount. That's an enormous chumrah. So you're right that zroya is a kula. The Torah is saying you could be mekel and put the zroya in the lechatchila. But I'm learning out from it a tremendous chumrah, and that I could learn out from. To be continued tomorrow.